what I've already said. It's for the people. You have to have self-integrity. How are you going to look at yourself in the mirror? At this time, right now, if you wanted to speak up, you would be an absolute hero.
All right, so I'm finally getting a chance to speak to Alex Cooney, the first police officer in Australia to speak up in a massive way by sending a letter to every single police member in New South Wales, I believe. And it kind of blew up, and I guess you're not a police officer anymore, but I'll let you explain that. But yeah, Alex, how has it been since that letter?
Yeah, that letter was interesting. It sort of put me in the spotlight. I guess I wasn't anticipating being in. I was kind of hoping that would break the ice with the police commissioner and those in charge of the police to actually start the conversation and look critically at this whole thing we're in at the moment under the name of COVID. So yeah, it wasn't intentional to sort of come into the spotlight. It's just it's happened. It's happened organically, and because I was the first person to put evidence forward, and the way I did it was actually really for the people. I've had a lot of public support, which has sort of put the momentum on me to keep going. So as a result of the letter, they conducted internal investigations in relation to breach of policy, which that's all good. I knew that would happen. I was aware of my policy breaches in presenting that letter and making it public. And basically I was put on suspension under non-disclosure agreements, gag orders, while investigations took place. They were still ongoing. With the new set of lockdowns that happened, though, I got inundated with members of the public and large number of police. We've got to do something. Someone's got to speak, and to speak publicly. And I was hoping someone would do it, but they wouldn't. And I've got a good awareness of where things are heading. And I was like, I have to act. It was just internally in me. I'll just come up and do something. I had a couple of interviews lined up. I was like, I'll do those, and hopefully someone will step up, take my place, and run with it. So I resigned so I could speak, and I could speak to the officers that were struggling within the organisation in relation to what they're being told to enforce and that sort of thing. And yeah, I resigned for that purpose, and it's just been ongoing. I've just been saying yes to interviews and yes to certain things that are coming up that I feel aligned with and for the cause. And basically that's where I'm at the moment.
And do you regret anything that you did?
Not at all. The support that I've had publicly has just been overwhelming. It shows me that I'm on the right track. So yeah, no regrets. I'm probably going to run out of money soon, but I can do anything. I'm okay. I can find whatever job and do that. I'm okay with doing that. As long as the right thing's done in the end. And at the moment, we need to get into the enforcement, make them aware that they're being told a false narrative in relation to COVID, and that they're actually breaching laws in enforcing what they're enforcing. And that's important. So hoping they hear it from a police officer. So speaking publicly with these sorts of interviews and these sorts of things, hopefully someone sees it and they know a police officer or a family member knows a police officer. Hey, you guys might not be doing the right thing here. We know police are fed up with enforcing this. We know they're fed up with the mandates that have been put on them. We know they become frustrated. They're going off on stress leave. They don't want to turn up to work because they want to be there to help people. They don't want to be against the people. Yeah. And I'm telling them, hey guys, you don't have to. Actually, everything that is law, the structure of the organisation, your oath, your statement of values, the things that govern you to be a police officer are actually not to enforce what these directions are, and to actually investigate why these directions have been handed down, because they are unlawful. So to motivate the police to stand up, it's going to have to be the lower ranking constables. They're going to have to stand up. And the reason it's important to get this message to them is if we go down the path of royal commissions after this, and they're found to actually conduct duties that are unlawful, they're accountable to the law. It doesn't matter what the directions are, they're going to be coming out to dry. And it's important to get this message to the lower ranking constables. Hey, look, you have discretion for one, and two, the laws say that you don't have the powers that these politicians and your commissioners are telling you do have. So we get that message to them. It's really important, and they can actually maybe find the courage to actually stand up. They can do things honourably through the organisation. The structures are there. Just reports, no sergeant, I'm not doing that. That's unlawful. Put it on the sergeants to start chasing up the chain and go from there.
And the support's there, and you can attest to that from the public anyway. And I had a conversation with a police member in a police station, and they actually thanked me for what I was doing, which was strange in a police station. So that was kind of weird. But I said, what about conscientious objection? Why can't you say no? And he said, the state of emergency ties our hands. We don't know what to do. This has never happened before. We need something to change so that we can say no. What would you say to that?
Yeah, that's really interesting. What that brings up is the bigger issue. So police have been fed the narrative that all the public have been fed when they're at home. They get another dose of it through work. And then they're being told that this is about enforcement. We're to go out and enforce this. These are your new powers. This is what constitutes an offence. Go get them, have no mercy, so to speak. Police are put in a position that they're not been put in before. It's sudden. Essentially, a premier or a health minister has come up on TV one day saying, we're doing this. And then the police get the information like 2 days later and they're like, oh, we've got to go get them. Ordinarily, the way a change in law would come about is that it'd be gradual and they have time to sink in. They'll say, we're looking at changing this. This is what the new law is going to be. Here's a 2-week period of grace. And now let's go enforce it. Or, it comes about and, use your discretion still, but this is now there. Right. We've never had it before where the commissioners are so heavy-handed coming down on the public. On top of that, police commissioners are pardoning any police who are doing wrongdoing as far as in issuing unlawful fines or anything along that matter. So police are actually issuing fines when there's not even a mandate in place. Like they don't have the authority to do so. The fines are unlawful. We go down those paths. But even according to their narratives, when the health minister is saying when there is or isn't a health order, police are still enforcing it, and the police commissioner's just pardoning that. That's like someone going and writing a whole heap of red light tickets when there's no traffic light. And ordinarily, that police officer would lose his job, the police organisation would be criticised, and there'd be a whole heap of apologies made, and those people would be compensated. But that's not happening on this occasion. Police commissioners just pardoning everyone for the wrongdoing.
It's
strange times.
So, I mean, Victoria, as you know, we're struggling a lot with the relationship between the police and the people. And, there are signs on the highways that say a big I, and it says police enforce, show directions, to like remind us that they're the ones, telling us what to do at the moment. And I mean, of course, I've personally had some situations with the police, but I still trust the police I trust that there are more good police than bad police. And I wanted you to talk on that, like for people who are feeling like they can never trust a person in a police uniform again, what would you say to them?
Police are everyday people. They are part of the community, they're members of the community, and they are struggling with this because what this enforcement is doing is dividing them from the community. Police are being put against the community, and it's not against community they ordinarily deal with. They're against everyday, educated, smart parents, just great members of society that have never been in trouble before, who want to stand up for their basic freedoms. Police are being put against them. To operate in that sort of world, police have to almost go to another place, go in some sort of robot mode. They are struggling, they are breaking, they don't want to do it. I know that much. They're put in a tricky position. For members of the public, with those directions being given, it's a tough spot. Members of the public are fearful. Now, we know that they are fearful of police, not of an alleged virus. We know the moment someone says take a mask off, they don't wear a mask because this virus is not real. If it was real, we'd be seeing it. We wouldn't need to be told wear a mask, stay inside. We'd be seeking what we need to stay safe. And so they're in a place where we can't speak up. We've got to do the right thing. Maybe if we do the right thing, it'll go away. And clearly now we're almost 2 years into this thing. That's not happening. And it's wearing everyone down.
So, I mean, the police, that there are probably a large number of police that are doing what they're told, the orders, and they're not happy about it. And they must be really, really mentally struggling, potentially more than the everyday people who are just locked up, because they're locked up outside of work, but then inside of work, they're enforcing the lockdown on top of that. How are these police going to recover from sort of going against their moral compass for so long?
Yeah, look, that's a big question. What I think is probably best to give a solution to that question, and that is the police start to stand up within the organisation. What that will do is they will feel empowered. It's actually bringing truth to lies. They're bringing integrity back. They're bringing honesty back. They're bringing the purpose they joined, which is to serve the community, to protect the community, to do the right thing. That would bring police their purpose. That will give them inner strength. That will make them feel better. That's the answer. I don't see any other way around it at the moment. That's what has to happen.
That's actually the perfect answer.
Yeah. Sorry, Monica. What that will do too is members of the public will see that. The public, as soon as the public see police, I know that there's a big divide at the moment. The public are really hating on police, but as soon as police see a member do the right thing, they'll be motivated to join them, to assist them on their journey. Look what's happened to me. I'm a nobody. I'm an absolutely nobody. I wrote one little letter, and the support I got was so overwhelming. I was in tears with letters that I was receiving, and I'm just one little nobody that put some words on a bit of paper. If police start to do the right thing, they have the public. It'll happen instantaneously, and that's what has to happen. We have everyone back together. It's that simple.
I would be totally behind that. And I, out of anyone, have the biggest reason, one of the biggest reasons to hate the police, but I'll be the first one to be alongside you saying the same thing, because we can definitely mend this relationship. It's not too late. It just needs to happen more or less pretty quickly. And the public need a bit of not a public apology or anything, but we need some accountability and some change. And I think that will be great. Now, I have a question for you. If the organization does tidy itself up a little bit and stop enforcing corrupt policies from a corrupt government, would you want to be a policeman again?
Yeah, I wanted to be a police officer. I saw it for as long as my days of working. There's many things you can do in the police. Many things bring you purpose. You have many tears shed on your shoulders. There's a lot of meaningful things you do as a cop. I had no intentions of leaving. It's unfortunately, if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have left. I was motivated. I did my job well and continued to do so. And there's other things I wanted to do while I was in the police. So I wasn't done with it yet. So yeah, certainly I would definitely head back and do the work.
That's good. Well, you didn't become a police officer to write a letter and be kicked out of the police force, that's for sure. So hopefully you can get back in there and maybe even have a senior role so that we can fix this stuff, that would be good, wouldn't it? Now, I'll just ask you, I'm just going to rephrase this question. You have kind of answered it, but I'm going to ask again. If you had 30 seconds or a minute to speak one-on-one with a police officer who's coming close to that line, what would you say to them to encourage them to stand up?
Look, it's what I've already said. It's for the people. You have to have self-integrity. How are you going to look at yourself in the mirror? At this time, right now, if you wanted to speak up, you would be an absolute hero. And hopefully others will just stand with you and see it happen. They just have to see it once. You'll have an impact. One police station does it. One little constable goes and actually does this. It could have an effect on a whole police station just by doing the right thing. And that little constable can just inspire the whole movement. Because what's being handed down is false, and everything is on your side at the moment to actually stand up. So stand up.
That's great. How can people support you or follow you or see what you're up to?
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty private. What I have done is started a Telegram page called Cops for COVID Truth, and it's not going to be posting every meme that comes along, but it's going to have relevant information as to what's happening with the police. And helping somewhere where police can go for information, go, okay, I want to stand up. I know this is BS. How do I do it? What can I get? And so we've got the information there. We've got the laws spelled out. We've got videos other police officers have done that have come out and where to go and what to do. And we'll have your back. If you're a police officer and you're wanting to go down that path, you can contact us too. I've got an email, Cops for COVID Truth, all lowercase, at advocateme.com.au.
Great. Well, I'll make sure all of that information is in the video because, who knows, maybe we can inspire a few cops to come and talk to you, and that would be amazing. I know there's quite a few things happening. There are paramedics talking out, and it's kind of, I feel like the domino effect is slowly starting, but we need a bit of a boost. So hopefully this.
Yeah. Look, if we get enforcement on side, the everyday members of the public will have a lot more guts to actually go out without a mask, to not QR code, to actually stand up for themselves. Because I think the majority know what's happening in the world at the moment is BS in relation to COVID, and they're trying to find the inner strength to stand up. And that's why people like myself, and I always say Graham Hood, he's a great example, have so much traction at the moment, because people are trying to find that inspiration within themselves to go, hang on, I'm going to do this. I know this is wrong. I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to stand up for myself and my family. And that's really what we're representing here at the moment. So, people, you can find that in yourselves. There's many people coming out now who are, okay, we're done with this. We're actually going to stand up for our rights, because they are your rights, and what is being enforced is unlawful. So stand up strong, stand up for yourself, and hopefully have an impact on the enforcement. When that happens, this whole thing's flipped on its head, and we'll hopefully have our freedoms back.
Well, I'm hopeful just like you, Alex. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll catch up with you another time.
Cool. Thanks, Monica.